Doug with Backcountry Pilgrim, and today I'm looking at something a little different than I have before, and that is getting into bushcrafting. Bushcrafting is basically going into the woods and using a few tools to make everything else that you might want or need. Many times there is a lot of crossover between survivalist type skills and bushcrafting, but technically bushcrafting doesn't have to mean survival, even if survival means bushcrafting. Skills in bushcrafting range from everything that you would just learn as a hiker or a camper, all the way to going out into the woods and doing more primitive projects such as processing a tree into firewood, building a shelter, or even getting really creative and making furniture. Now, a great place to start if you're just getting into bushcrafting like I am is simply learning how to process wood into firewood. Now, this can start with felling a tree and then cutting it into logs and then splitting those logs and continuing the process down until you literally have wood shavings to act as kindling. However, many of the skills needed to process a tree into firewood will also help when making shelters, furniture, traps, or anything else that you might need in the backcountry. Kind of like how in hiking and backpacking we have the big three: shelter, the sleep system, and the backpack. In bushcrafting, there are a big three of tools. And the big three consist of a saw, an axe, and a knife. Now, each of the big three tools themselves come in a variety of sizes and types. At the very least, each one of these tools comes in various sizes for various size jobs. So if you're getting started bushcrafting, one of the things you're going to want to think about when you purchase these tools is what realistically am I going to start off doing? If, like me, you're mostly looking to start off by doing small projects at the camp, you don't need to get really big tools, and in fact, if you do, they're going to be unwieldy and potentially even unsafe for the kind of work you're really going to do. Next, you're going to want to look at some of the specialty features of these tools, because some of them are designed for very specific tasks, and in bushcrafting, the right tool for the right job rule definitely applies. So for example, this small axe, which is probably more of a hatchet, is going to be great for splitting up smaller firewood and processing it maybe down even to the kindling level. However, I would not want to have to chop down a very big tree with this axe. By way of the same reasoning, a fairly small saw like this is going to do fine around the campground, but it's probably not something I'm going to want to take out into the forest to saw very big kinds of logs. Now, this knife is actually quite large for outdoorsman bushcrafting type things. It's a very heavy-duty knife. It is more for heavy-duty projects. It does have some features that allow it to be used as a finer blade, but something smaller is going to work better for finer work. Now, when I decided that I wanted to start doing some bushcrafting type things, I mostly just looked around and saw what I already had. However, having not done that sort of outdoorsman stuff before, I did some research on what would be some good entry-level tools to get, and I went out and got a variety of axes and another saw, the kinds of tools that will work well for campground type chores and projects. I do plan to continue this project of getting into more outdoorsman type stuff, and if I do, I will produce another video on some of the larger tools you may want to look into, as well as some of the smaller, finer tools you might want to look at for different kinds of projects. Alright, I hope you have enjoyed and learned something from this video on getting into bushcrafting. If you did, would you mind liking the video and subscribe to Backcountry Pilgrim if you are into hiking, camping, backpacking, and the gear that goes with it. Until next time, I'm Doug. Thanks for watching.